There was a video I had posted on our African Diaspora News channel. We put up a short, and I want to kind of, do this particular podcast based on that video. If you have not seen the video, we'll play it real quick. But this video, I'm going to go probably a couple of different routes. Some of it's definitely going to have to be spiritual, believe it or not, because that's the only thing that we can kind of understand it just a little bit. But let's play the video and then let's follow it up.
What exactly did Black people ever do? Like, I'm genuinely asking, what did we ever do to deserve anti-Blackness in every single community? We were brought over here in chains. We were beat, raped, and murdered. We fought for our freedom just to end up with Jim Crow and segregation and being lynched by the KKK. We were segregated into our own communities, then denied jobs, denied funding for our schools. You kill our Black men, then make fun of us for not having fathers. You dehumanize and demonize and kill our Black women, and nobody bats an eye. What exactly did Black people do? What exactly did we do?
Just about every Black person in the world have had that same question that this sister had. What did we do? Or the better question is what we didn't do. That's the better question. But why is it that the world, all nations of the world, have a hatred for Black people? This has been documented for the forever. Now, I will say up front, there are individuals in all nations that like Black people. There are some in all nations that love Black people. But when I speak as a collective. A minority of any group does not represent the whole. So, because when you make these kind of messages, it's going to be somebody, I don't feel that way. So let's go ahead on and establish that up front. Up front, is no nation on the earth that loves us. None. They find the most penny-ante excuses to justify their anti-Black, racism and anti-Black hatred. Things that they do, or even worse. You hear excuses about, oh, well, we don't like Black people because they're lazy. That's a personal thing to that person. And there's lazy people within your group too. Oh, we don't like Black people because they commit crime. And yet you commit crime as well. You commit crime. And we won't talk about America. Some of the main groups, we're talking about the white supremacists. You commit way more crimes and heinous crimes than we ever can commit. Right? Oh, well, I don't like Black people because, some of the men, they violate women. You lead in violation of women and children, according to the FBI. What are you talking about? Black people don't lead in that, according to y'all own, data. It's excuses to try to justify their hatred that they have for us. And there's a reason they have hatred for us. But one thing that we did not do, let's cover that, because this is an indictment on the rest of the world too. We as a people did not colonize Latin America. We didn't colonize Asian countries. We didn't colonize Arab countries. We didn't do any of that at all. Of course, we know our people was enslaved and colonized all over the world. Our people was moved around like property. We were property. We didn't do that to anybody. We didn't enslave nobody. We didn't colonize nobody. We didn't go into no one's homelands and mass violate the women of these homelands of all these different people groups within the white supremacists or any other people outside of them. We didn't do that. We didn't go in and steal the resources of people's nations. We didn't take land from nobody. We didn't do this as black people. No black person in the earth went around taking people's land, slaughtering people. We didn't go into Australia and the indigenous people who were in Australia that were black. We didn't go in there and just killing them en masse. We didn't do that. We didn't bury little children in Australia and were actually kicking the heads off of children. We didn't come to the Americas with the Native Americans and just straight attacking them. We didn't give them blankets of smallpox. We didn't do that. We didn't take rocks and bash Native American children's heads in. We didn't do that. Not whatsoever. We didn't kill people and actually make leather shoes and leather goods with the skin of any group of people. We didn't do that. We didn't sell tickets at our churches to gather to watch a human being be tortured and hung from a tree, or tortured and set ablaze while our women, our men, and our children were watching. We didn't fight for the body parts of anybody of the torturing. We didn't fight for people's private parts. We didn't fight for fingers and toes and tongues and ears. And we didn't fight for that. And we didn't put that on our mantle. We didn't do that. We didn't take the hair of people and put it as cushion for furniture. We didn't do that at all to no group of people. We didn't go to no nation of the earth and started to, when you have leaders that's trying to do very good for their communities, we didn't go in and eliminate these leaders because they were going to do good for their people and not do what we want them to do. We didn't do that. Not whatsoever. We didn't destabilize a single nation on the planet Earth. We didn't go to places like Palestine and put a group of people there and started to have them just take over where Palestine is at and all the things that's happening over there. We're not giving billions of dollars a year to make sure that stuff that goes on over there keep happening. We don't do that. We didn't take out Muammar Gaddafi. I'm talking about us as a people. We didn't do that. We didn't take out Dr. King. We didn't take out Malcolm X. I'm talking we as a group of people. You know, we didn't do that. There's so much things that has been done. If you look and read the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and it talks about how Latin America was destabilized. We didn't do anything about that. We didn't make sure drugs was flowing into communities. We didn't do that to destroy another community because they were just trying to do good on their own and you was trying to figure out a way to destroy it. We didn't do that. We didn't. To nobody. We did not do that. We didn't drop an atomic bomb on anybody. We didn't sponsor coups in any nation of the earth. We didn't do that. We didn't put sanctions on people that fighting for their own freedom and liberation from the white supremacists, fighting for their land back from the white supremacists, like in Zimbabwe. The white supremacists took land from the Zimbabwe people. When Robert Mugabe became the president, he said, no. Look, I'm going to give y'all time, but I got to give the land back to the people. And even though Robert Mugabe is not even here anymore, they still have crippling economic sanctions on Zimbabwe. We have never done that as a group of people to anybody. And why? Because 4,000 white folks was made to give the land back to the indigenous black people of the land of Zimbabwe. We didn't cause a civil war in Rwanda because the French had a hand in causing that, and over 1 million people got killed. We didn't cause a civil war in Nigeria. We didn't wage war and destabilize Iraq. We didn't do things in Afghanistan as a people. We have done nothing. And yet people in these other countries who have actually been victims of white supremacy, you would think that they would have the mindset of, I can't stand this white supremacist. I can't stand who they are. And if anybody I'm going to join with, I'm going to join with the people who have suffered the most at the hands of the white supremacists. That would actually be more common sense. And they have not. They rather join with the people that has done everything wrong to them and look at us like we committed atrocities against these other groups of people. So it leaves you confused as to why. Why would they embrace people who have done atrocities, people who have took their land from them? You look at here in America. When you talk about the situation like in Los Angeles, where you having all this anti-black racism that's going on with the Latino community, you would think that it was black people that took their land from them. The way some of them are acting with Black America. They love the people that took their land from them. They love the people that have a hand in keeping Mexico and other countries in Latin America in the conditions that they're in. They love those people, or they puppet leaders make sure they're in allegiance with Western powers. They love those people. They can't wait to get over here and be with those people. And when they come over here, they have a problem with black people. And it leaves black people in a state of confusion. And you ask, like the sister said, what did we do to y'all? What did we do? We didn't do anything that I'm stating right now to nobody on the planet Earth. None. We talk about, talking about the thing where they saying, I know black, I'm Dominican. They talk about Tainos. These people wiped out the Tainos. And some of them got even a problem with us. We even got that issue within our own community. We thinking that because we want to also be in allegiance, some of us, with the people that done things to us. We want to try to figure out ways to feel that we could, hopefully we can opt out of our reality and I call ourselves everything but who we really are. We want to call ourselves a tribe. We want to call ourselves a nationality. We want to call ourselves a religion. We want to call ourselves everything but who we are to try to avoid the treatment that we get as a global people. Marcus Garvey said there's no area in the earth where black people are, they're not being at the bottom and treated bad. This has been going on. So that question is in your mind and all black people's mind. Why everybody got a problem with us? We done nothing as a collective of people to deserve this treatment from nobody. But the people that's done the most evil in the planet Earth, they get the most love. Now, I'm going to go spiritually here for a minute because I have to do this because it's just fitting. And I'm going to read a couple of scriptures for you, and I'm just going to explain this for a reason. Now, some of you may say, oh, I don't like religion or whatever like that. I don't care what you like, because I got to tell you for what it is. Now, in the scriptures here, what I'm about to read for you, this is kind of makes sense, and I explain to you why. So what I'm looking at in the scripture right now is John chapter 15, actually, verse 18. It say, if the world hates you, you know it hated me before it hated you. And say, if you were of the world would love his own. They say, but because you are not of the world, but I've chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. See, but the world hates us because I told y'all a long time ago, we are the lawless people. I said that a long time ago. So because we are the lawless people, the world hates us because we don't belong to the world. We are a different people. We are not the same. Understand? I've said that many times before. Now I continue to say, remember the world, you say the word, I'm sorry, that I said to you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. He said, if they have kept my saying, they'll keep yours also. So we know that situation, definitely happened. Of course, they tried to lie about, Christ himself, tried to lie and say he was white. We know good and well that wasn't true. We know the description and all of that. But I'm leading up to say that we are a people that is separated, and we are a different people. And the world understands that. The world has a weird relationship with us. They do hate us. They do. And it's a hard, listen, when you first realize it, let me tell you what happened to me. When I really realized it, one day it just dawned on me, like I was in my studio and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like the same thing like what this sister was talking about. Why does everybody hate us so much? Like, seriously, like why? And then it just dawned on me right then and there. Like Dr. John Henry Clark said, we have no friends. I was like, why would he say we have no friends? Why do all our previous leaders have talked about this? That nobody is here to come to our rescue. We try to do the right thing and always the wrong thing is happening to us. And then people full of the devil try to tell you, oh, well, don't be stop whining about it. Don't be a victim. You would not have nothing to say if you wasn't being victimized constantly. People who are not victimized don't say things about being a victim. We are victimized globally. Others will try to minimize that by saying, oh, other stuff happened to us too. Yeah, but this is the thing. A lot of you chose still to be in league with the people who have historically victimized you. A lot of your countries even chose to still be underneath the Queen and now the King, Charles. So Queen Elizabeth, now King Charles, is the king of a lot of these other nations. And they chose that. You would think they would reject that, but they chose it. The relationship with the world with us is that we can't stand black people. We can't stand them for many reasons. Number one, they should have been wiped out a long time ago. Through colonization and enslavement, we all should have been wiped out. How in the world they survived that? How in the world that we do everything to them and they still survive? How? How have they innovated the world through science, through music, the arts, sports, medicine, different things as in software, the internet? How do they keep on doing this? How? We beat them down. We sabotage them every chance we get. And they still keep rising. How is that happening? We mass incarcerated them. We put crack cocaine in their communities to try to wipe them out. We created a single parent epidemic in the black community through that was never in the black community before. We purposely tried to destroy the black family. And even though they're in a lot of dysfunction, they still kind of holding some things together. How are they doing it? How? How is it that we done all this stuff and now you got black billionaires? How in the world are they doing this? How? We demean them, we dehumanize them, and they still get up every day in the midst of all that with a smile on their face And they keep going. During a pandemic, they created more businesses than any other group. How did they do that? How? We don't understand this. These people, we do everything to them. We take out their leaders that they love. We thought that maybe would get them just to fold, because attack the shepherd and the sheep will scatter, and they still surviving. We demean them all throughout the world to other nations, put out false images about them, bear false witness about them. And yet they're still doing things. They're traveling all over the world. They're thriving. What sort of people is this? Because these other people, we broke them a lot easier. Why can't we break these people? It's whole nations that we have broken, that the people are just leaving the nations to come over here because they feel they can only make it if they come over here with us. But what is it about these people? How could they survive all this? What kind of strength and resilience is in these people? And that's what a lot of the anger is at with us, is that other people don't have our strength. Other people don't have our resilience. They have been broken a lot easier. And y'all talk about fleeing. That's what part of it is. You flee because you're broken. And most of these people have been broken. They weren't broken on their own. They have not been broken on their own. It's been white supremacy that broke them. And they still think, if I go along with white supremacy, if I go along with the devil, and I agree with everything that he say, and I be against the black man and black woman, maybe things will be better. And all that's going to end up happening for all those people is that they're going to get the same just end as those they in league with. They love our culture. They try to steal everything we create. We are a major economy in America and throughout the world, but yet they can't stand us. Our only issue that we have at this moment in time is that if we would actually heed the words of the great oracles and prophets that God gave us, and our oracles and prophets, and we talked about them many times before, our great oracles and prophets have been people like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his words, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Neely Fuller, Khalid Muhammad, Dr. Amos Wilson, people like Shahrazad Ali, Kwame Ture, Malcolm X, Dr. King. Many people I can just keep naming. Many of you keep asking, what's the solution? There will be no more solutions given, because we have had enough people who have been prophets and oracles to our people and gave us all the solutions we need to fix and solve our problems. If you go back and heed those words that were spoken to you and follow the words that were spoken to you by these great men and women in our community, we could fix our problems overnight. You keep looking for a solution, and the solutions have been given, but you have chosen to be hard-headed, stubborn, and stiff-necked. Some of you have chosen to try to also follow the wiles of the devil too. And look what it has gotten us as a community. We also have chosen ourselves in our community not to appropriate our funds. We're spending $2 billion on Jordans. Could you imagine if we spend $2 billion on things in our community? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that all the Mercedes-Benz that we're buy more Mercedes-Benz than even white people do? Because we feel so bad about ourselves and we thinking name brand clothes and name brand cars from groups of people that don't like us, that have proven history of racism against us. We feel better about ourselves. We in Mercedes-Benz or we wearing a Gucci. As I stated the other day, I was looking for some tie clips. And the first thing they popped up on Google was a Gucci tie clip that cost $300. I don't value Gucci like that. And why in the world are you going to sell me one tie clip for $300? I was looking, I found some tie clips, found 3 actually for $45. That was on Amazon and look a lot better than that $300 mess. But some people will say, oh, I got the money. I'm going to spend the $300 because it's Gucci. I don't value Gucci or anything they sell because I know they don't like my people like that, for one. And for two, that's silly. When we come together as a people and work together in our own individual families, it's nothing nobody could do to stop us because we have proven we are the most resilient people on the planet Earth. If we just work with each other and follow what's already has been said to us, it is not over with for us. It's just beginning. It doesn't matter if the world hates us. Don't matter. We the Lord's people. And because of that, this is why we're even where we're at today, even in the midst of our dysfunction, even in the midst of that, we're still here. And this is why they focus so much attention on us and us only, is because they say we can't let them just thrive. Because no, it's going to be a problem. We can't see these other groups. You keep saying, why they let these other groups? They don't worry about them. Yeah, they of course they're not worried about them because they got them where they want them. They're broken. These other groups are broken. These other groups are we talking about collective, are in service to white supremacy. They're not worried about them. They good. Why they put these other groups over us? Because they got them where they want them. It's us that's the issue and problem. It's us. We will not ever thrive looking to them for nothing. Entrepreneurship, for instance, is our saving grace for black people. How many videos I got to cover where black people are applying for jobs and they put black, they don't get a call back, but they put white. Listen, as long as you go underneath looking for them, you're going to deal with that. Because remember, they don't like us like that. Entrepreneurship is our freedom. Entrepreneurship can help other people in the community. We create jobs. We hire people in the community so they don't have to worry about looking for them folks for jobs. See, one thing that other groups got right versus us is that Dr. Claude Anderson told us, which is one of our great prophets, told us that we need to practice group economics. He told us this. He told us what we need to do in politics. He told us everything that we need to do. We had just have been hard-headed and not done it. And we wonder why we can't thrive, why we still struggling. It's because we are not practicing group economics, people. The books are out there, Black Labor, White Wealth. All these books are out there for us to read, to study, to share with each other the information. There's no more solutions that's going to be given to you other than the solutions that's already out there. You just do not practice it. Some of you may even know some of these solutions in your head, but you're not practicing it at a collective level. Economics is the way out for a lot of things that we got going on. Coming together, sticking together. Because depending on everybody else to have you gainfully employed, that's not going to work. Because when people don't like you, they're not going to treat you right. We sending our kids to be educated by a system of people who don't like us. It doesn't make sense. That's like sending your child to be educated by, let's say, somebody personal you just don't like, or that's like your mortal enemy. You got in a fight with them. And that's like sending your child to your mortal enemy to educate them. Most people are like, I ain't gonna fool that person. That person don't like me, so why would they like my child? Yes, that's what common sense would say. But in our community, this is what we do. We need to start thinking about that. That's our only issue and problem is how we spend money, the want to feel better about ourselves, thinking that name brand clothing of other people's name, not even black people's name, except maybe the Jordan thing. And I think Jordans is one of the worst things that you spend money on. If you're not buying a pair of Jordans and flipping it and making $500 to $1,000 off of the purchase of a Jordan because you know how to flip those shoes, if you're not doing things like that and just buying a bunch of Jordans to put on your feet, there's no reason black people in the condition that we're in to be spending $2 billion on Jordans. There's no excuse for that. So we do have a hand in some of the issues that we have. We do. And we need to correct ourselves on this. We do need to correct ourselves. But when it comes to people having issues with us, it don't matter. We can't focus on that. That's their problem. That's not ours whatsoever. We can, the funny part is about that, it's so weird, is because let's say if black people say, okay, this prime example, I'm in the state of Texas. Let's say if every black person just say, okay, we all leaving the state of Texas, we going to just go other places, right? If we all left the state of Texas in mass, every black person just left the state of Texas, these people, it'll be national news because, you know, all our movements are news. White folks will be asking, why y'all leaving? What's going on? There will be white people following us out the state of Texas because they say, I don't know why they're leaving, but I don't want to be here. They know something that I don't know. I'm leaving. Y'all know good and well that's what would happen. No matter where we at, what our movements are or whatever, it is heavily monitored. We are followed everywhere. It don't matter where we go. We can even leave the country and they'll be following us over there too. I've seen it. Everywhere we go, we're followed. It's like, nah, I'm gonna follow behind them. Like I say, white folks gonna be the main one following behind the black folk. Cause they gonna say, they know something. I don't want to be caught in something they know and they just not telling me. But what I will say, just hold your head up high. Be proud of who you are. You are a special people. You are set apart. And you're treated this way because there's something special, you know, for us. There's a lot of things that's going on that's, trust me, it's more coming up on the horizon that's going to be great for us than bad. The people that have been, you know, in league with Satan, that's been running the world for a long time, every day their world is slipping out their hands, and they see this and they know this. And all you other groups that have, you know, been against us, you'll see what that'll get you. You'll see exactly what that gets you, and you probably not gonna like that either. This is why it's very important, and why all these things are happening to us is because it's time for us to look out for self. It's time for us to only focus on self. We've done our part. We fought for everybody. We reached out to everybody. We've loved everybody. And what we got in return is a slap in the face, a punch in the gut, and spit upon. And that's okay. That was meant to happen. God knows we try to do things with a good spirit. But it's time now for us to look out for ourselves and worry about ourselves and fight for ourselves. Not putting on any kind of, you know, let somebody else go be the Avengers for other people. Let them do it. We got to be the Avengers for ourselves now. It's time. It's time. We've been enslaved and served people for a long time. Even after slavery, we're still looking out for people. It's time for us to finally serve ourselves. It's okay. It's okay to look out for self. It's okay. We don't have no alliances. We don't have no allegiances to nobody. You know, everything. This is why we're starting to see how everything's being exposed, because I believe the Lord is showing us, okay, I'm showing you all of the fake allegiances that you had or thought you had all these years, and show you not a bunch of nothing. So we need to look out for ourselves globally. Now, there's going to be some black folks that don't want to do that because they in league with the devil too. But the black folks that want to, you know, look out and join together globally, that's the people we're going to focus on. That's the people we're going to work with, because a lot of our people have fallen by the wayside too. A lot of them, unfortunately. But just hold your head up. We got to keep trucking along. And like I said, things is going to be better and better. I told y'all this, and I keep saying this. I said this before, but by 2030, you won't even know how the world gonna look so different by 2030. Y'all gonna be like, what happened? But it's not going to be a what happened for us. It's going to be a what happened for everybody else, not us. Trust me. We got a lot of great things coming down the horizon. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure to click the subscribe button. That way, you know, we post another podcast. Click the like button. It's very important. And we appreciate you coming by and, you know, joining us. And we'll see you on the next one.